The truth is, this might not be for everyone, but that's okay. Before we settle in, if you find comfort in what I share here, feel free to like the video and subscribe. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. Where are you watching from, and what time is it for you right now? It's always a quiet joy to see how far this little space reaches. Now, go ahead and dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for a gentle hum in the background. Let's relax and drift into tonight's journey together. Hey there, let's start with a question you've probably never had to ask yourself. What's the first thing you'd do if the world ended yesterday and you woke up today? No, not in a dream, not in a video game. I mean really ended. Civilization, finished. Governments, gone. Stores, phones, streaming, pizza delivery, obliterated. All that's left is you, and whatever's out there in the dust. So congratulations, you've just woken up in the aftermath. The fall happened sometime between midnight and whatever this grey glow passing for morning is. Your mattress is a pile of scavenged clothes and insulation foam. Your alarm clock is the wind slicing through cracks in the wall. And your first thought isn't, what day is it? It's, am I still alive? And the second thought, is anyone else? The air smells like copper and smoke, not like a fresh campfire. No, more like the dying breath of 1,000 burning cities. You sit up slowly. Every joint in your body feels like it's been rusted shut. And it's not just from the cold. It's the weight of the new world pressing down on you like a slab of concrete. You're inside what used to be a convenience store, or maybe a diner. Hard to tell now. The walls are charred, windows shattered, shelves stripped clean except for a single rotting pack of instant noodles and a can of creamed corn that somehow dodged the looters. Your bed sits in what used to be the freezer aisle. Ironic, it's probably the warmest place left. Your pack is already strapped to your side. You sleep with it on. Everyone does now. Not because it's comfortable, but because waking up without it means you probably won't wake up again. Now, let's get one thing clear before we go any further. This isn't a zombie apocalypse. No moaning corpses, no secret labs, no meteor impact or alien mothership in the sky. The fall wasn't one big boom. It was a slow, grinding descent, like the Earth photos. All got how to spin, and the future ran out of fuel. Some say it was the economy, others blame climate collapse, or a cascading failure in global networks. Truth is, it doesn't matter anymore. The world didn't end in fire or ice, it ended in silence. One city at a time, one lie at a time, until there was nothing left but ash, rust, and memory. You stand up and stretch, feeling every rib. You're not starving yet. But the idea of hunger isn't theoretical anymore. It's a constant shadow. You haven't had meat in weeks. Not since that squirrel 2 towns back. Now it's mostly canned beans, moss tea, and whatever dried jerky still holds shape. You step outside. Welcome to Main Street. Population unknown. Every building is a monument to what used to be. Banks collapsed. Schools overgrown. Cars frozen in time like metallic fossils. Traffic lights still hang overhead, flickering uselessly like they're waiting for people who aren't coming. The sky isn't black. It's worse. It's this permanent grey-yellow smear, like someone spilled old paint water across the clouds and forgot to wipe it clean. Sunlight filters through it like guilt. Dim, tired, and already regretting its effort. And the silence. It's not peaceful. It's aggressive. It pushes into your ears until your own breathing sounds intrusive. The birds stopped singing months ago. Dogs, most of them didn't make it past the 3rd week. The ones that did, well, they don't wag their tails anymore. You take your first cautious steps down the cracked sidewalk, passing a mailbox that's been split open like a ribcage. Letters still spill out, yellowed and rain-warped. You pick one up. It's a postcard from Hawaii. It says, "Wish you were here." You keep walking. You head east. Not because you have a destination, there aren't really destinations anymore. But instinct says east is good. Warmer maybe. Fewer patrols. Less radiation. Who knows? Instinct is all you've got now. Your boots crunch over glass and gravel. Every step is loud in the worst way. Sound travels differently in the ruins. There's no background noise to hide you. You walk like a ghost who doesn't want to scare the dead. Midday used to mean lunch, errands, maybe scrolling through a phone. Now it means scanning every rooftop, every window, every doorway for movement. Not because you're paranoid, because you're still breathing. And breathing people get watched. The biggest threat isn't mutants or monsters, it's other survivors. You learned that back in Sector 14 when a kid smiled at you across a fire pit and then tried to knife you for your water bottle an hour later. That was month 2. You're on month 16 now. As you move down what used to be Elm Street, you pause by a rusted-out pickup. Its bed is full of old rainwater and algae. Something moves in it, maybe a frog, maybe not. You don't check. You reach the husk of a gas station and crouch, not because you need gas, nobody needs gas anymore, but because gas stations meant supplies. You move in low, careful, quiet. You've cleared places like this 100 times, but every single one could be your last. The door creaks like it's announcing your presence to the world. Inside, rows of empty shelves stretch like broken teeth. The air smells like mold and spilled oil. You check behind the counter, a few rat turds, a cracked bottle of cough syrup, an expired protein bar. Jackpot. You unwrap it with fingers that know how to be fast and quiet at the same time. The chocolate has turned white. Doesn't matter. You chew like it's sacred. You ration half and tuck the rest away. Calories are currency. In the back room, is a corpse, not recent, dried out and curled like a forgotten leaf. You don't look at the face, that's a rule. You check the pockets instead. A lighter, dead. A ring of keys, useless. A photo. You pause. It's of a family. Mum, dad, 2 kids, standing in front of a Christmas tree, smiling like they didn't know the world was already on fire. You pocket it, not because you're sentimental, because sometimes on bad nights, you need to remember that people were real once. That you were real once. Outside, the wind kicks up again. You pull your hood tighter. Dust whips around like it's searching for someone to blame. You head out toward the overpass. You know there's a water cache hidden beneath it, left by someone months ago. Maybe someone like you, maybe someone not like you at all. The overpass looks like it was ripped in half by a giant. Chunks of concrete hang mid-air like a paused explosion. The cache is still there. 3 bottles in a crate covered by an old tarp. You check them. 2 are sealed. One's been tampered with. You leave the 3rd. You drink slow. Careful. Always careful. The water tastes like plastic and old pipe, but it's clean. That means today, you won't die from the inside out. You sit for a minute under the bridge, not resting, calculating. You pull out your map. It's hand-drawn, scribbled over with charcoal and rain-smudged ink. The cities are just red X's. You circle a small patch of blank just west of your current position. Someone once said there's a place out there where things are growing again. You're not hopeful, but hope's not the point. The point is motion. You stand, repack your bag, head west. The path narrows as the remains of suburbia give way to the edge of what used to be a park, or maybe a wildlife reserve. Now it's just overgrowth, branches twisting out of cars, vines strangling old fences, nature crawling back over concrete like it's trying to forget. You step carefully. The sun is barely visible, a pale disk behind thick smog. You can still feel it though, heavy, like it's trying to press you into the ground. Heat rises off the pavement in greasy waves. You adjust your scarf. You take it off, but the air out here isn't exactly fresh. You don't need a Geiger counter to know when your lungs start burning. Something moves up ahead. You freeze. Just the wind? No. Too deliberate. You crouch behind a rusted swing set and wait. 5 seconds. 10. There. Again. A flash of movement. You ease your pack around, fingers brushing the grip of your knife. Guns are too loud. Bullets too rare. Besides, if it's what you think it is, noise won't save you. Then a sound. Not words, but not animal either. Something in between. A shape stumbles out from behind a collapsed picnic shelter. Human. Kind of. It's a man. Or was. Clothes in tatters. Hair matted to his scalp. Eyes wild, darting. He's carrying a pipe and a bundle of wires. He hasn't seen you yet. You don't move. You don't breathe. He mutters to himself, talking to no one, laughing like his brain is playing static on loop. He walks past you, dragging a shopping cart full of useless metal, trinkets, junk. You've seen his kind before. Scavengers gone too long without contact, alone too long, minds folding in on themselves. You wait until he disappears into the trees before you move again. This world changes people, not just the weak, everyone. You've met soldiers who broke after a month, and kids who thrived. There's no telling who makes it and who doesn't. It's not about strength, it's about instinct, timing, luck, and the willingness to let go of everything that used to matter. You move on. Around midday, you pass what used to be a school, or maybe a community centre. It's hard to tell. Nature has taken most of the signage. Inside, you find skeletons, 2 of them, still seated in chairs, a deck of cards on the table between them. One of them is holding an ace of spades. You nod once, then leave. You've learned not to disturb the dead. They've earned their stillness. You, on the other hand, still have miles to go. Later, near the river, you find tracks. Not boots, wheels. A small cart, maybe, fresh, within the last day. You study them, not military, not patrol, too narrow. 1 person, light cargo. You follow. Why? Curiosity? Desperation? It's hard to tell the difference anymore. Your feet make the decision for you. As dusk begins to creep in, the light shifts. The grey of the day deepens into orange shadows. The trees thin. You step into a clearing and find a small campfire. Still warm, a can on the edge, steam curling into the air. And a voice, low, calm. I wouldn't move too fast if I were you. You freeze again. Slowly turn your head. She's standing behind you, mid-30s, worn jacket, machete at her hip, one eye covered by a patch, the other locked on you. You raise your hand slightly. Not here to take anything, you say, voice steady. Just passing through. She studies you. long enough that the silence becomes a third person in the clearing. Finally, she nods. Then sit. I've got more beans than I can eat. You hesitate, then sit. Because in this world, a warm can of beans and a stranger who hasn't killed you yet is about as close to luxury as it gets. The fire crackles low, wood hissing as it gives up its last warmth. The woman, she hasn't offered a name, hands you the can of beans using a metal spoon bent at the handle. You eat slow, not just to ration, it's about trust. You wait for her to take a bite from her own before you commit. Old instincts die hard. After a few minutes, she speaks. You from the north? You nod. Used to be, before it burned. She doesn't ask what burned it, everyone already knows. You ask her if she's seen any movement west. Couple of traders passed through, she says. Said there's something growing out past the ridge. Trees that don't bleed, grass that isn't grey. You raise an eyebrow. You believe it? She shrugs. Doesn't matter. Gotta walk somewhere. That's the thing about talking now. No one asks where you're from. That doesn't mean anything anymore. They ask what you've seen, what you've heard, whether you've been to the places everyone whispers about, whether you've survived things they still have nightmares of. And you have. You both have. You can tell by the way she holds her weapon. Like it's an extension of her spine. Not eager, just prepared. You talk for a while. Not much, but enough. You both avoid names. Names mean attachment, and attachment means risk. You don't want to remember someone's name when you find their pack in a ditch 2 days later. Easier to let people remain sketches, faces in smoke, silhouettes behind campfire light. She tells you about a boy she once travelled with. Smart, knew how to rig a trap with just wire and sticks. One day he disappeared while checking snare lines. She waited 3 nights before leaving. You don't ask if she buried him. You already know she didn't find him. You offer a story in return. About a convoy you rode with for a week. A doctor, 2 engineers, and a mechanic who swore they could build a wind-powered grid. They didn't last long. G. A band of raiders found them on the second night of open camping. You were the only one who wasn't asleep yet. Neither of you speaks for a while after that. That's how stories go now. Not for comfort, not even for connection, just proof that you were here, that someone else was. Later, she pulls out a tin and opens it. Inside are teeth, human, cleaned and labelled. One has a name scratched into the enamel, Mitch. You glance at her. She doesn't explain. You don't ask. Instead, she pulls out a deck of cards and deals 2 hands. You smile despite yourself. We betting? She chuckles. Only thing worth betting now is memory. Loser shares something they haven't told anyone in a while. You play 3 rounds. She wins the first. You tell her about the time you broke into an abandoned museum just to look at the paintings. You sat in front of a Degas for an hour and tried to remember what beauty used to feel like. She nods, doesn't laugh, just says, I get that. You win the second. She tells you she used to be a nurse. Real hospital. Scrubs and clipboards. Now her fingers shake whenever she sees blood. Too many times stitching up someone who didn't survive the night. By the 3rd game, you're both too tired to keep playing. She puts out the fire, not with water, but with dirt. Can't risk smoke rising too long. It's not the smell that brings trouble, it's the light. You roll out your mat beside the broken truck she's camped near. She takes first watch, says she sleeps better second shift. You close your eyes, but not all the way. Sleep is a suggestion now, not a guarantee. You drift, not deeply, not safely, just enough to blur the edges of reality, long enough for memory to start digging up things you'd rather not remember. In your dream, the city is still alive. Traffic hums, sirens echo, neon signs buzz above busy sidewalks. You're walking beside someone. Could be your brother, your friend, maybe a stranger who once mattered. Their face keeps shifting. One moment it's familiar, the next it's gone. Then the dream twists. Sirens turn to screams. The ground shakes. Buildings lean like tired giants. Smoke floods the streets like ink spilled across paper. You try to run, but your legs don't work. You fall. You reach out and wake up. The night is black, thick and bitter. Your breath fogs in the air. Your back aches. Your mind races. It takes a full minute to remember where you are. She's still there, the one-eyed woman, sitting by the truck, blade across her lap, watching the trees like they owe her money. She doesn't look at you, just says, "Bad dream?" You grunt. "All dreams are bad now." She nods slowly. "Then you're still human." You sit up, rub your eyes. She tosses you a water pouch. "You're lucky," she says. "Most people can't sleep at all anymore." You take a sip, warm, metallic. Still, you're grateful. She leans back, stares up at the stars, or what's left of them. Most nights the sky's just a blanket of haze, but tonight a few pinpricks break through. Faint, fragile. "You ever notice," she mutters, "how the stars look guilty?" You don't respond, because you've thought that too. Around 3 a.m., something cracks in the distance. Loud, sharp. Not thunder, not an animal. Gunfire. You both freeze. You scan the tree line. No movement, no lights. Just the long, stretched-out quiet that comes after the world remembers it used to be dangerous. She whispers, "Too close." You nod. Camp's packed in. Under 60 seconds. Fire covered. Packs on. Knives out. You take opposite flanks and retreat into the brush. The path you used is covered. No signs left. You both move like shadows, silent, practiced, paranoid. After a half-mile, you stop to listen. More shots. Then, laughter. It's not joyous. It's not even angry. It's the kind of laughter that sounds like it used to be human and forgot how. You whisper, "Reapers?" She nods grimly. Reapers are what people started calling the ones who lost their minds but not their bodies. They don't kill for food. They don't kill for loot. They kill because they need to believe the world still reacts to them. You've seen what they do. You don't want to see it again. She mutters. They travel in packs. 3, maybe 4. Always high on something. Iodine, bleach, poppies, doesn't matter. Keeps them numb. Think they're heading west. She shakes her head. Doesn't matter. We're not waiting to find out. You push through thorns and silence until the gunshots are miles behind you. When you finally stop, it's on the edge of a dry ravine, hidden beneath an overgrown bridge. It's not comfortable, but comfort isn't the point. Concealment is. She takes second watch like she said she would. You lie back against the cold ground, heart still pounding. Sleep doesn't come this time, only the stars, watching. You don't so much wake up as you come back to awareness, slowly, cautiously, like someone reopening a wound. The sky is beginning to lighten, barely, just enough to paint the ruined world in tones of blue steel and burnt silver. Dawn doesn't rise anymore, it crawls in like it's ashamed to be seen. You sit up, every bone protests, your mouth tastes like rust. She's already up, again. Didn't sleep? You ask, voice still gravel. She shrugs. Didn't want to. You both eat in silence. She offers a piece of dried root, bitter, stringy, but full of whatever counts as nutrition now. You chew like it's penance. Then she pulls out a small black notebook, opens it, flips past pages filled with tiny, cramped handwriting. Names, places, tally marks, sketches, maps. What's that, you ask? She glances up. A record of what matters. You nod, like that makes sense, because it does. There's no electricity, no internet, no cloud backups or hard drives anymore. The only data left is what you carry. Memory written in ink, stories passed mouth to mouth like fire in the dark. She rips out a page, hands it to you. What's this? A place, south of here, old orchard, overrun now but the soil's good, rain still collects in the cistern. If you make it that far, look for a barn with a red door. You're not coming? She hesitates. I'm heading east, there's someone I have to find, or bury. You don't ask who, that's the rule. Instead, you fold the page and slide it into your pocket. She shoulders her pack and gives you a half nod. You've got good instincts, don't waste them. You watch her disappear through the trees. She moves like someone used to being alone. You wonder how long she's been that way. Then it's just you again, just like it was yesterday, just like it might be tomorrow. You turn south. The road is broken, pitted with time and erosion. Trees have claimed it. Cracks run like veer. Inns beneath your feet. At some point, a sign pokes out of the underbrush. It says, "Welcome to Willow Creek." The paint is faded. Someone has spray-painted a skull over the town name. You keep moving. As the sun rises higher, the temperature climbs with it. The heat is thick and sticky. Sweat collects behind your knees, under your collar. The air smells like wet metal and dying things. You pass a bus, rotted down to the frame. Vines crawling in through the broken windows. A teddy bear sits slumped across 2 seats, its fur stiff with mold. You don't stop. Further ahead, you spot something. Movement. You drop low behind a slab of fallen concrete. A group, 4 people, maybe 5, armed, quiet, professional, not reapers, worse, organized, mercs, remnants, slavers. You don't wait to find out. You move around them, wide arc through the brush, careful steps, breathing through your mouth, sweat stinging your eyes. You keep going until your legs start to shake and your vision blurs. Then finally, quiet. A meadow. It's overgrown but not dead. Flowers poke through the weeds. Yellow, purple, defiant. You stop. Take it in. You haven't seen colour like that in months. Maybe longer. You drop to one knee, not in prayer, just exhaustion. But still, something like gratitude stirs in your chest. Not because you're safe, you're never safe, but because somehow, despite everything, life is still trying, and so are you. The meadow doesn't last. Nothing does. An hour later, you're climbing a slope covered in shale and thornbush. Your breath comes heavy, your water's low. Every step is a negotiation between pain and necessity. But at the top, something stops you. A sound. Not wind, not footsteps. A hum. Faint, mechanical. You drop to your stomach and crawl toward the ridge's edge. Below is a tower. Metal, standing maybe 40 feet high, bolted into the rock like a skeletal hand reaching for the sky. A dish on top turns slowly, too slowly to be wind-powered. You recognize the shape, a radio relay. You blink twice, not because you doubt it's real, because it means something impossible. Power. You watch the area around the tower for 10 full minutes. No guards, no movement, no signs of life, which makes it even more suspicious. You descend slowly, carefully, every nerve screaming to turn back. But curiosity is louder. Curiosity is always louder. The base of the tower is surrounded by sandbags and broken fencing. An old generator sits beside it, cables running underground. The dish clicks as it rotates. You hear faint static from a metal box bolted into a rusted cabinet. You kneel beside it and press your ear close. A voice, crackled, broken, but real. Repeat. Western Ridge. Coordinates. Survivors. Signal strength 2. Remain cloaked. Your pulse spikes. You grab your radio, the one you've kept dead for weeks, hoping for a reason to turn it back on. You flick the dial, tune slowly, back and forth. And then, to anyone receiving this, you are not alone. You freeze. You press the radio to your lips. Say again, repeat last transmission. Static. Then, signal active, coordinates broadcast every hour. Follow the sound. You stare at the tower. No logos, no flags, no markings, just rust and silence and a voice that shouldn't be possible. You sit back, mind racing. Could it be real? A bunker? A relay from an old network? A trap? Could be all three, but it's something. You check the notebook the woman gave you. No mention of a tower, no signal. But the coordinates she scribbled, close. Too close to be coincidence. You record the numbers, then you make a decision. South was survival, but this might be something more. You pack your gear and start walking east. The road east isn't really a road, just the ghost of one. Cracked asphalt buried beneath roots and time. You follow it anyway, because paths still mean someone once walked here, and that's enough to keep you moving. You pass signs. Literal ones. Weathered green metal with white lettering almost worn away. Next exit. Lockridge, 12 miles. A second sign below reads, Emergency Shelter Zone. Someone's crossed out the word shelter and painted slaughter in red. You keep walking. Then you see it. The city, or what's left of it. Crumpled high-rises, broken bridges, glass that once glittered now ground into dust. A skyline that looks like it's sighed and collapsed. You stop at the edge of a rusted freeway and scan for movement. Nothing. Just pigeons. Actual birds. Nesting in a hollowed-out billboard that still says, Try McMurray's Cola. Taste the tomorrow. A cruel joke now, if anyone was still laughing. You enter slowly, stepping over debris and bones. The city is quiet, not abandoned, hushed, like it's listening to you. Every doorway feels like a mouth about to speak, every shadow like it remembers what you did. You pass an old bank. The vault door is open, contents long gone, not even coins left. Money has no weight anymore. Value got reassigned to things like iodine tablets and clean socks. Ahead, you see movement. Not people. Screens. You freeze. It's a storefront, what used to be an electronics shop. And inside, behind cracked glass, a row of televisions. One is flickering. A looped image, faded, glitched. A man in a lab coat speaking from behind a lectern. No audio, just captions that scroll too fast to follow. Behind him, a logo, a stylized satellite and the letters Nova. You stare. Nova. You've heard the name whispered by scavengers, the ones who said there were places, facilities, sealed before the fall, places with answers, or weapons, or worse. The man keeps repeating his silent speech over and over, lips moving like a prayer or a curse. You step back and notice something else. A drone, half buried under rubble, its rotors bent, lights dead. You kneel, flip it over and see the marking, Nova 47B, and a single word beneath it, Observation, not defense, not aid. Observation. You stand slowly, look around. Suddenly every camera mounted on a corner, every blackened lens above a door feels like it's still watching. You start walking faster. You head deeper into the city. At an intersection, you find a message painted on the asphalt. Big letters, faded but readable. They watched it fall. You don't know who they are, but somehow you believe it. You pass through what used to be a park, statues toppled, fountains dry. In the centre, a sculpture of 3 figures holding up a globe. Someone's spray-painted X's over their eyes. At the far end of the square, you find a building that hasn't been stripped bare. Reinforced windows, a generator still humming faintly inside, and on the door, another symbol, a triangle with a broken circle inside it. Same as the drone, same as the tower. You press your ear to the door and hear a voice. Not a recording. A person speaking. Real. Inside. The door creaks as it opens, slowly, deliberately, like it's deciding whether to welcome you or swallow you whole. Inside, there's light, not candlelight, not firelight, electric light. Your breath catches. A figure steps forward from the shadows, unarmed, wearing a worn grey jacket with the same triangle circle emblem stitched on the shoulder. She looks at you, calm, not surprised, like she's been expecting someone for a long time and it didn't really matter who. You alone? She asks. You nod. She motions for you to enter. You do. The interior smells like metal and dust. Machines hum softly. Fans spin. A faint antiseptic tang in the air, clean, but in a way that makes your skin itch. There are others inside. 4 people, all alert, all watching you, but not reaching for weapons. That's worse. It means they're confident, which means they're dangerous. The woman who greeted you gestures toward a chair. You're the 4th this month, she says. From the west? You hesitate, then nod. She taps a console. A map springs to life on a dusty screen. Your eyes widen. It's detailed. Full satellite overlays, marked safe zones, radiation clouds, water purity zones, all color-coded, all real. She sees your reaction. Yeah, that's usually how people look when they realize we're still connected to something. You ask the obvious question. How? She smiles, but it's tired. Long story, but short version, we were part of a contingency. Deep systems, not military, not civilian either, just watchers. We didn't stop the fall, we didn't start it, but we saw it coming, and we stayed. You blink. They left? She nods once. The ones who built all this? Yeah, gone. Most of them into bunkers they never came out of. Some tried to upload their mines, didn't work, some boarded the Ark ships, probably floating in orbit now with nothing to come home to. You stare. She lets that sink in. We saw. Tade, she repeats. To listen, to learn, to witness what happens next. You frown. You're not rebuilding? She laughs softly. Not unkind, just sad. No, not yet. First we had to understand what survived. She gestures to a wall lined with screens. You see footage, grainy but clear, groups of people, some farming, some forming small communities. One clip shows children drawing with chalk on a broken highway. Another shows a man building a windmill out of scrap. These are the others, she says. The ones who didn't become monsters. The ones who remembered how to try. You lean forward. She looks you in the eyes. That's why we broadcast. Not to rescue, not to lead, to find. People who remember what mattered. You ask why they haven't come out, why they haven't helped. She gestures around. There are less than 20 of us. Globally, we don't have armies, we have old tech and sharper memories than most, but we're building something. What? She pauses, then says it like a vow. A network of truth. You sit in silence. It's more than you expected, more than you dared hope. You reach into your coat and hand her the map, the one the woman with the eye patch gave you. She studies it, smiles faintly. She made it past the ridge. That's good. You stare. You know her? We all know each other, eventually. She hands you back the map, then points to a door at the far end of the room. There's a terminal. If you want to send a message, you can. You ask, to who? She shrugs. Whoever's still listening. You walk down the hall. It's narrow, sterile, lined with cables that snake along the floor and walls like veins. The hum of machinery surrounds you. Not loud, not oppressive, but steady, comforting in a strange way, like the heartbeat of a world that refused to die. The terminal room is small. 1 chair, 1 screen, a cracked keyboard. Above it, a tiny label reads, Uplink node, active, you sit. The screen flickers to life. Enter message blinks in pale green text. Your hands hover over the keys. For a moment you don't know what to say. After everything, after the silence, the blood, the miles, what message do you leave behind? You start typing. Not poetry, not prophecy, just the truth. My name doesn't matter. I was west of the burn line, then south of the salt wind. I've seen men tear each other apart over a bag of rice. I've seen a little girl walk through a minefield to bring water to her brother. I've watched cities vanish under cloud cover that never left. But I've also seen things worth staying alive for. A garden on a rooftop in a collapsed mall. A dog who refused to leave its owner's grave. A group of strangers who sang around a fire without killing each other first. There's still something here. Not the world we lost, but something stubborn, something trying. If you're reading this, if you're alive, then maybe you're it. Keep going. That's all there is. You hit send. The screen flickers. Message received. Archived. Rebroadcast set. You lean back in the chair. Exhale. You don't know who, if anyone, will hear those words. Maybe no one. Maybe everyone. Maybe someone will find a tower like you did and hear your voice in the static. Maybe it'll mean nothing to them. Or maybe it'll mean everything. You leave the room. The woman is waiting. She hands you a small device, solar-powered, handheld, no bigger than a deck of cards. Signal tracker, she says. You'll find other. This like us if you keep it on. Just don't rely on it. Battery's fickle. You nod. Outside, the world hasn't changed. Still grey, still broken, still waiting. But something in your chest feels different. Not lighter, not cleaner, just sharper, more awake. She walks you to the edge of the compound, pauses, then says, "Tell the others we're still listening." You shoulder your bag and walk. You leave the city behind. Not with a sense of closure, there is no such thing anymore, but with a direction. That's what matters now. Motion with purpose, even if you don't know what waits at the end. The signal tracker clicks softly at your side. Every few minutes it pings, searching. Nothing yet, but even that sound is comfort now. A whisper that something still works, that you're not the only heartbeat left in the ruins. You take the long road south, moving through the lowlands where the ash hangs thicker, where trees look like statues in mourning. The silence out here isn't dead, it's watchful. On the second night, you see it. A glow on the horizon, orange, flickering. You freeze. Fire doesn't just happen anymore, it's always someone. You climb a ridge and wait, watching the glow grow brighter beneath a dome of smoke. It's a camp, not a small one. You count at least 6 fires. Movement around them, figures, maybe a dozen, maybe more. Not chaotic, not hostile, but deliberate. You stay low, watching. Then you hear it. Music, faint, fuzzy, like it's coming from an old battery-powered speaker. It's a song you almost recognize, something from before, a woman's voice, low and haunting, tangled in static. You haven't heard music in months. You didn't realize how much you missed it until now. You creep closer, circling the camp's perimeter. No guards, no perimeter alarms, just people, eating, talking, one man tuning a violin, a woman mending boots by firelight. It doesn't look like a trap, but then again, nothing good ever does. You step on a stick. Snap. Every head turns. You step out, hands raised. Just passing through, you say. A beat of silence. Then someone laughs. It's not cruel, just surprised. Then pass through, friend. But if you want food, we've got extra. If you want music, stay for a song. You hesitate, then nod. They welcome you in without ceremony. No key. Stjuns, no threats. Just a bowl of root stew and a place by the fire. You sit. You eat. It tastes like salt and soil and something green. The man with the violin plays softly. Not a full song, just notes, echoes of things lost and half remembered. Someone passes you a bottle, fermented something. Burns going down. You take another sip anyway. Then they ask you where you've been, and you tell them. Not everything, but enough. They listen. They nod. One woman says, "We've heard the signal. Didn't know if it was real." You say it is. They ask where it came from. You point north. They pass a map around, mark the spot you show them. One man, older, quiet, leans in and says, "Then maybe it's time we stopped hiding." The woman next to him nods. "Maybe it's time we started building again." You look at them, their worn hands, tired eyes, the flicker of something dangerous behind their faces. Hope. You sleep among them that night, and for the first time in longer than you can remember, you don't dream of screaming. You wake to voices. Soft. Urgent. The sun hasn't crested yet, but the camp is already moving. Someone spotted smoke, not from your fires, further off. East, a column rising like a warning shot. You grab your gear, so do they. This is the new rhythm of community. Trust just long enough to survive, then scatter before kindness becomes liability. But the man with the violin, the one who gave you that first sip, he stops you before you go. "We're going that way," he says, pointing west. You shake your head. "I have to follow the signal." He presses something into your hand, a small, etched stone, round, smoothed by years of handling. The symbol carved into it is unmistakable, the broken circle. "You're not the only one with stories," he says. "We've seen it too. We just weren't ready to believe." You nod, slip the stone into your pocket, and turn east. You walk alone again, but not lonely. There's a difference now. The signal tracker chirps, short, clipped, a new pulse. You check the coordinates, a change, slight, but enough to suggest the signal moved or adapted. You reach a small rise and stop. Smoke, closer than before, but this isn't a campfire, it's a perimeter. You descend carefully, scanning the ruins of a long-collapsed structure. Fences, floodlights shattered by time, a checkpoint booth caved in. You recognize the layout. It was a government outpost once, now it's a tomb. But near the center you see it, a tripod antenna, still upright, still blinking. You approach slowly, and then you hear it. Voices, not live, not broadcast, stored. You press a button on the side of the antenna, and a recording plays. "If you found this signal, then you're one of us. You've seen the fall. You've walked through fire, salt, ash, and silence, and you're still here. We don't need your name, we need your witness." The message repeats, then a second voice overlays it. This one different. Tired, real. They're not coming back. The ones who left, the ones who ran. But maybe they don't need to. Maybe we stop looking up. Maybe we start planting seeds where the dirt still breathes. You sit there on the cold stone steps of whatever this place used to be. You play the message again and again. And when the device asks for input, asks if you want to respond, you say yes. You lean forward and speak into the mouth of history. This is for anyone still drawing breath. I've seen cities choke on their own smoke. I've seen mothers bury children in burned-out gardens. I've seen hope tossed into ditches like it's poison. But I've also seen fire turn to warmth, and walls turned into bridges. If you're still out there, don't wait for rescue. Be it. Find each other. Speak. Listen. Build. Not like before. Not with greed or gods or gold. Build something true. You release the button. The antenna beeps once. Message archived. You stand, and you draw a line in the dirt with your boot. Not a wall, a direction. Then you walk away. You follow the tracker northeast. The terrain flattens, opens wide. Fields of tall, brittle grass sway in a wind that smells faintly of ash and ozone. Once, this was farmland, rows of corn and wheat and soy stretching from horizon to horizon. Now it's a graveyard of green, but not just of plants. You start seeing markers. Not graves, memory posts, slabs of stone, metal, wood, anything people could find, each one carved with names. Some have dates, some only symbols. One has a child's shoe nailed to it. Another holds a cracked mirror reflecting a sky that forgot how to cry. You walk between them like you would through a cathedral, quiet, careful, reverent. Someone made these, someone remembered, and kept remembering. At the far end of the field, you find a sign staked into the ground. Memory field, do not disturb the dead. They are not lost, they are carried. Beneath that, handwritten, leave only truth, take only silence. You sit beside a marker that reads simply, for all the ones who waited. You reach into your pack and pull out the photo you found back in the gas station freezer aisle. The one of the smiling family, Christmas lights behind them. You dig a shallow groove into the earth with your hands and place the photo inside. You don't pray, you don't know how anymore. But you do say something, just once. Still here. Then you stand and keep walking. As you crest the next hill, the tracker in your pocket chirps again, more urgently this time. Signal nearby. You scan the horizon and see it. A tower, but different from the last. This one is intact, guarded. Solar panels shimmer around its base. Wind turbines spin lazily above it. And tents, actual canvas tents, are pitched in a circle around the compound. You approach slowly, hands raised. Two people in patched uniforms spot you. One raises binoculars, the other steps forward, arm resting on a holstered weapon. But not drawing it. You say, "Heard the signal." He nods. "Then you found us." He waves you through. Inside, the camp is alive. People move with purpose, some repairing wiring, others tending gardens. Children sit in a circle, learning from a woman who writes in chalk on an old slate board. One man welds a frame that looks like the skeleton of a solar still. Another grinds flour with a manual stone mill. You take it all in, stunned. It's not just survival, it's something better. The first guard claps you on the shoulder. "We call this one Relay 3. There are more. How many?" "Enough to start over." You ask what they're building. He grins. "A signal you can't ignore." You walk through Relay 3 like someone tiptoeing through a dream. You pass a woman adjusting a wind gauge, her fingers stained with grease. She looks up and smiles, not out of politeness, but recognition, like she sees something in your eyes that matches her own. You pass rows of salvaged batteries laid out in the sun, hooked to handmade inverters that hum quietly. One man's measuring current through wires pulled from a crashed drone. A group of teenagers rides modified bikes in slow loops, their tires wrapped in garden hose. It takes you a moment to realize they're powering a generator. Everywhere you look, invention, recovery, resistance. The guard, his name's Cade, leads you to a structure near the tower. Half prefab shelter, half scavenged museum. Inside, you find a giant wall lined with monitors, and behind it a man hunched over a control board, tweaking dials like he's playing an instrument only he understands. "This is Cass," Cade says. He runs the net. Cass turns, older, sharp-eyed. He sizes you up with a single glance and nods. "You come from the outer ring?" You nod. "West, then north." He whistles. "That's a long walk for a rumour." "Wasn't a rumour," you say. "Not when I found the tower and the message." Cass smiles thinly. "Good. Then it's working." He gestures to the monitors. They flicker with grids, dots and bars. Waveforms pulse. Tiny voices echo in clipped loops. "This isn't just one relay," he explains. "It's part of a grid. 97 towers across the continent. 48 still operational. 17 sending live data. 5 fully autonomous. We're rebuilding the broadcast web, one link at a time." You blink. "How?" "Slowly, carefully, quietly. We can't shout yet, but we're learning how to sing." He points to a waveform on the screen. "This one's from the Appalachians. Group of herbalists and hunters. Built a whole valley farm using hydroponics. CS and scavenged glass. They send us botany logs once a week." He switches channels. "Here, New Mexico, solar compound. 17 survivors. Teaching kids to code using car batteries and laptops running Linux." He pauses. "And this," his voice softens. "This one came in yesterday. Northern Ontario. Just a heartbeat ping, but it's enough." You watch the pulse on the screen. Regular, defiant. Cass says, "You found us. That means someone else will too." You ask him what the end goal is. He leans back in his chair. "To make enough noise that even the ones underground, the ones who gave up, will hear us, and remember that not everyone fell silent." You stand beside him for a long moment, watching signals cross the void, watching hope ripple through broken static. Outside, the children are laughing. Someone just caught a rabbit. 2 women hang solar blankets on a line to dry. A signal you can't ignore isn't always a scream. Sometimes it's a song. And now, it's your turn to carry the tune. You stay at Relay 3 for 2 days. Long enough to learn the rhythm, long enough to feel the weight lift, just a little. Long enough to realize the end wasn't the end, it was the reset. On the morning of the 3rd day, Cade hands you a new pack, sturdier than yours, built to last. "Route west's clear for now," he says. "We've mapped it. Avoid the dead zone by Ridgeway. Follow the blue marks. If you see green, you're near friendly ground." Cass adds a flash drive to the pack. Broadcast protocols, tower schematics, old maps, clean firmware. If you find a relay, light it up. They don't ask you to stay. They trust you'll carry the signal. That's how things work now. You leave at dawn. The tracker on your hip chirps once, then falls quiet. A tone only those who've heard the silence can recognize for what it is. An invitation. The land ahead is wide. Burned, yes. Broken, yes. But not empty. You pass a caravan heading north. 4 carts pulled by bicycles rigged with salvaged motors. The lead rider nods to you. No words. Just acknowledgement. Further on, you find a mural painted across the side of a collapsed warehouse. A tree. Roots deep. Branches tangled in stars. Under it, "We don't inherit the earth. We remember it." You add your own message beneath it. Just one line. "Still here." You reach a high ridge as evening falls. Below, in the valley, lights flicker. Solar lanterns, maybe. A small cluster of them. Fire. Life. You sit on the ridge as the sky darkens. And for the first time in longer than you can remember, stars come out. Real stars. You count them. Not because you need to, but because you can, and because it matters. You remember that question from the beginning. What's the first thing you'd do if the world ended yesterday, and you woke up today? Now you have the answer. You walk, you listen, you carry the signal, you remember the dead, but speak to the living. You plant something in the dirt and wait for it to grow. You wake up tomorrow and do it all again, not because it's easy, not because it's safe, but because someone has to, because someone always does. Welcome to the end. We've been expecting you.